Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Di, and if this is your first time here, thanks for joining us. And what we do here is cooking, crafts and gardening. So we've in Sydney at the moment, it is the 24th of October. We've had never-ending rain, and while I love the rain for the garden, it has kept me indoors for a long time. We're talking days and days, and it's usually I'm out in the garden at least some time during the day. So I can't even get out because it's just non-stop. But anyway, we're in the kitchen again today, and we're going to be making, I keep talking about family favourites, but that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to cook through all our family favourites so that all my kids have access to my recipes, not just in a written version, but they can actually see how they're made. And hopefully, as the grandkids get a little bit older, they can tune into these YouTube videos and say, you know, I want to make Mama's cake or whatever it might be. So that's why I make all these videos, and that's why I keep saying, oh, this is a family favourite, because it actually is. So what we're going to make today is meatloaf, and we call it Mum's Meatloaf. It's my mum's recipe for meatloaf. And again, with all recipes, as I keep saying, many variations. This is our version of a meatloaf, and you may have your own. If you do, and you want to make suggestions of how we could change ours, put it in the comments. I'd love to see it. But we will get on and we'll make this recipe today, and it's going to be going to my daughter so that she's got dinner for the family tonight. And how my kids used to love it. I used to make a really big one, and they would love it if there was leftovers, because they said there was nothing better than having it cold the next day on a sandwich with tomato sauce for lunch at school. So there's a suggestion for you. But you know, like a lot of things that you cook, it seems to taste better the next day. I suppose it's time for the flavours to develop. But yeah, they would love it, and it would always be, is there any more left? So then I got into the habit of making a whole lot. So I do at times make this in bulk and make quite a few of them, stick them in the freezer. Now you can put them in the freezer cooked or uncooked. So if they're uncooked, all you have to do is just defrost them and warm them through, and you've got your meal done. If they're uncooked, then it probably takes about an hour in the oven or more to cook them, so you do have to allow that time. So you know, they are great to boil your meat in, get it all mixed up, stick it in the freezer, and then you can leave it in there for 3 months, all ready to go, already prepped, and then just stick it in the oven once it's defrosted, and you're ready to serve it. So that's a suggestion. You may have some more, but anyway, let's get on with it and let's have a look at what ingredients we're going to be using today. Here are the ingredients that we need for our meatloaf. So I'm doubling this recipe, and so I'm using a kilo of beef mince. Now you might like to change that out, and you might like to use kangaroo mince. I've never made it with chicken mince or turkey mince, but they are alternatives. Maybe you would like to use lamb mince, that would also go well. So the recipe calls for 500 grams, but I've got a kilo because I'm doubling it. And the same with sausage mince, it's 500 grams and I'm doubling it, so I've got the 2 there. It calls for 2 eggs, I've got 4 there. Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon, I'll double it and use 2. With the garlic, it does say 1 clove of garlic, but I always use 2 anyway. So 1 of those is small, so I've put 5 cloves there. It's 1 onion, again doubled. We need rolled oats. We need tomato paste, and that's 140 grams. So we'd normally use 1 of those, I'm using the 2. And then at the back there, there's bacon, and it says 2 rashers of bacon, but again, with all recipes, you can vary this. If you like a lot of bacon, put a lot of bacon in it. And sometimes I have seen the meatloaf done where the bacon is either wrapped right around the meatloaf or laid on top of it. So we're not doing any of that, we're just mixing it all in. So let's get busy and get all these ingredients mixed. Okay, so first we'll get the meat in, and I'll just break open these. Now I used to make this without using the sausage mince. It was very hard to get, and so I just used to make it with mince, but the sausage mince is good because it helps to bind it, and it does give it a different flavour. So there we go with one of them. Now, you've heard me say before on previous videos, if you've been watching me for a while, that I live next to a drummer, and from time to time he likes to practice his drums, and good on him. He's probably enjoying it a lot. And what happens is the rest of the neighbourhood enjoy it too. So he's just started up now in the background, and you may be hearing him. So if you're wondering what that noise is, it'll be the drummer next door. And I have absolutely no issues with it, especially seeing that my son is a drummer, and it used to be him entertaining the neighbourhood, so. Okay, in there's 500 grams of minced beef. This is how I store it. When I put it in the freezer, I buy bulk packs, and then I vacuum seal it. So that helps to make it last longer. It avoids freezer burn. And also, when you do it flat like that, it defrosts really quickly, as well as being very easy to stack in the freezer. So there we are. We've got all our meat in there. I'll just keep that plate and put all the scraps on there. Now, we can just add our eggs. We can add our bacon. Now, as I've chopped that, it's been in layers, so I'm just separating it, because you don't want a great big chunk of bacon in the meatloaf when you bite into it. So I'll just make sure all that's separated, and I'll also be doing that as I'm mixing it, because I'll be using my hands to mix it. Okay, our oats. Let's have a look at how many oats we need. So I need a cup of oats, which, doubling it, we're going to be using 2 cups. So there's our 2 cups of oats. With the Worcestershire sauce, we need 2 tablespoons. Oh, I don't have much of that left. There's 1 tablespoon. Two. just get a spoon so that I can get that out. Oh, the one thing I forgot to get out was just see if I can get that off the spoon. There we go. Was mixed herbs. I'm actually going to use an Italian herb mix. So, what do we need of this? So we need 2 teaspoons of mixed herbs. I'm adding extra. These smell really nice. And there's a lot of meat there to flavour, so there we go. Now the next thing I need to do is my onions and my garlic. So in the recipe it says to grate the onion. Man, when you grate onion, if you think when you're slicing it you cry, when you grate it, it just makes my eyes water so much. So I'm not going to be grating this. I'm going to put this into my mini chopper and chop it up. And what I'll do, I'll add the garlic to it at the same time, and that can all get chopped finely as well. So save a little bit of work there. There we go with the onion. I had got tomato paste on my hand. So it's a bit soft on one end. I'm glad I put the extra garlic in. Oh, my eyes are watering. Oh, that one's a bit funny too. So there's lots of noise happening at the moment. My dishwasher's also running, and you may be able to hear that because the camera is just above it. It's just under my breakfast bar here. And it's raining. To top it off, it's still raining, and I have a tin roof out there over a little sitting area pergola, so you'll probably hear the rain on the roof. Right, now I'll get my mini chopper out. I'll be back. Okay, so we're just going to chop up. They've got one onion in there. All done. Okay. That's chopped lovely and fine. Now we've got all our ingredients in there, and the next thing we need to do is to mix it, and the only thing to do to mix it thoroughly is to use your hands. So let's get to it and mix all that in. It's worthwhile taking time to do this to make sure it's a real thorough mix, because you don't want to be biting into just sausage mince or hunks of bacon or a big blob of tomato paste. Excuse me for sniffing, those onions have really affected my eyes. It's funny, sometimes they don't affect me at all, and then other times my eyes just don't stop watering. They must have been extra strong onions. So as I'm turning this over, I can see chunks of the sausage meat not mixed in with the beef mince. So that's why I'm still going, and I'm having a good look each time I turn it to make sure that it's mixed thoroughly. There's still a few areas that aren't mixed in. And I'm certainly glad I'm wearing my apron, because this is up against me. It's a bit difficult to do all this, and it has gone against my apron and made it dirty. So yeah, that's the reason that I wear an apron in the kitchen, because I'm just sick of dirtying my clothes, or even when I'm working with oils and things like that, sometimes you just can't get it out your clothes when you're washing them. So there we go, that's done. I'll just wash my hands and then be back. Okay, so I've got my 2 loaf tins here. I'm just going to lightly spray them with some olive oil. Now the next thing we need to do is to line them with baking paper. Now what we need is a nice long piece of baking paper, and you'll see why we need that once we load the meat in. So we'll just put that in. We don't worry about some of the sides aren't going to be covered properly, but that's okay, because these are non-stick pans anyway. So this helps when you've cooked it, that you can actually lift it out, but it also, we fold it over and cover it. So we just need to divide this between our 2 tins. Again, using hands, there's no, I mean, this is the best way to do it, with your hands. Making sure we've got all that in there. Right, now we just want to press it down firmly. Make sure that there's no air bubbles or pockets in there, because we don't want it falling apart as we're slicing it. So that looks good, that one. There we go. Now we just want to fold that over and fold the other one over. And here we go. And we've got the top covered. So now I'm going to put them on a tray. Just makes it easier for me to handle both at once. And also If there is any juices that bubble over, I try to keep my oven clean. If it bubbles over, it'll go onto the tray and it's an easy clean. So I'll get that into the oven and then we'll come back when they're cooked. Oh, one thing I didn't say was I'm going to put them in a 160-degree fan-forced oven, and I'm going to cook them for, it says an hour to an hour and a half. I'll probably give them about an hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll come back. And there you have it. It's been cut and put on a plate so that you can have a good look at it. It lifted out of the cooking pan very easily with the paper that was around it. Now you can have it just like that, or you can add tomato sauce, which is lovely, or you might like to put some gravy on it. So there you go. I'll just give you another close-up of that. How good does that look? And it smells delicious.